I almost had a heart attack because everything I thought I knew about myself was suddenly turned upside down, and I wasn't sure if I could handle the change. I almost had a heart attack because I realized how fragile life is and how much I still need to do before my time runs out. I almost had a heart attack because I saw how quickly everything I had worked for could slip away in an instant. I almost had a heart attack because I couldn't decide if I was truly ready to face what was next or if I was just scared of the unknown. I almost had a heart attack because sometimes the heart knows things the mind isn't ready as to accept. I almost had a heart attack because, in that one moment, I understood that nothing is guaranteed, not even tomorrow. I almost had a heart attack because I felt the weight of every choice I've made in my life, as if each one could determine my future. I almost had a heart attack because I couldn't stop thinking about all the what ifs that could change everything in a heartbeat. I almost had a heart attack because a single glance at someone could make me realize how much I have been holding back. I almost had a heart attack because I found out how easily the things we take for granted can be lost forever. I almost had a heart attack because I wasn't ready for the truth that had been quietly hiding inside of me for so long. I almost had a heart attack because I was overwhelmed by the idea of having so much potential, yet feeling so stuck. I almost had a heart attack because I realized that what I thought was a small obstacle was actually the greatest challenge of my life. I almost had a heart attack because in that moment I was forced to confront every fear I had ever tried to avoid. I almost had a heart attack because I didn't know if I was going to be okay after all the chaos and uncertainty. I almost had a heart attack because I felt like I was standing on the edge of a cliff, unsure whether to jump or turn back. I almost had a heart attack because I had spent so much time thinking I was fine, only to realize I wasn't as strong as I thought. I almost had a heart attack because the thought of losing someone close to me made my heart race in ways I couldn't control. I almost had a heart attack because I saw myself reflected in someone else's struggle and realized I wasn't as invincible as I thought. I almost had a heart attack because it dawned on me that every day is a chance to rewrite my story, but only if I'm brave enough to take it. I almost had a heart attack because the thought of never living up to my own potential felt more terrifying than anything else. I almost had a heart attack because I couldn't believe how quickly life could change, and it left me wondering if I was ready. I almost had a heart attack because, for the first time, I realized I might not be in control of the path ahead. I almost had a heart attack because I saw how much I had taken my loved ones for granted, only to realize how precious they are. I almost had a heart attack because in one instant I realized how deeply I care and it overwhelmed me. I almost had a heart attack because I couldn't stop thinking about how everything could fall apart so quickly, yet I had no control over it. I almost had a heart attack because it suddenly hit me how much I still wanted out of life, and I wasn't sure if I could achieve it all. I almost had a heart attack because the silence in the room spoke louder than anything I could say. I almost had a heart attack because the weight of all the decisions I had yet to make felt unbearable. I almost had a heart attack because I finally saw how much of my life was spent waiting for things to happen instead of making them happen. I almost had a heart attack because I realized that in the blink of an eye, things could be different, and I wasn't sure I was ready for that shift. I almost had a heart attack because in that moment, I understood that everything I feared was really just a reflection of my own doubts. I almost had a heart attack because I could feel my heart racing with the intensity of everything I had yet to accomplish. I almost had a heart attack because deep down, I wasn't sure if I was truly prepared for the love and success I had been chasing. I almost had a heart attack because it was the first time I understood how fleeting each moment truly is and how precious it all feels. I almost had a heart attack because I found myself facing a truth that was too big to ignore, and it shook me to the core. I almost had a heart attack because I couldn't keep pretending everything was okay, when deep down I knew something had to change. I almost had a heart attack because I realized that sometimes you have to risk everything to find what truly matters.